Hello, Internet. Thank you once again for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. I have a lovely young talent to talk to who is called Alec Randolph, who is actor who has been dipping his toe into vertical waters, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of him on our screens soon. So, Alec, over to you. This is your big moment. Do your introduction to the Internet.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alec Randolph. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm an actor and have definitely been entering the vertical space recently and have been having a lot of fun doing that. So, yeah, I love acting, love all this. So I'm excited.
So, did you grow up in San Diego? Are you San Diego born and bred?
Yes, San Diego, born and raised, but my mom and my sister lives in LA, so we've done the commute back and forth weekly since as long as I can remember, and so I feel like LA has a part of my soul to definitely for sure. So, but back and forth almost weekly for sure with LA. Yeah.
Okay, right. You have to help a Brit out here. Okay, how long is it to get from San Diego to LA?
Without traffic, it's like a 2.5 hour drive, but when is there not traffic? So I went up the other day and it took me 4 hours and it was like after Friday. Yeah. So it really depends, but if you time it right, it should be like 2 or 3 hours, but that's nothing at this point, you know? It's just
So it's kind of a committed commute, but it's not an insane commute. It's doable. Okay.
Yes, it's a doable commute. And at this point, it just feels like a normal commute. And back in the day when auditions were all done in person, I was going up even more frequently to do those auditions in person. And I mean, now we're doing them all online, so it makes it easier. But yeah, definitely.
Less traffic,
Exactly.
more auditions. That's what you want.
Yep. Right? I know, I need that.
So that sounds like you've been, because no offense, you look quite young.
No,
and you're saying back in the day. So I'm guessing you got into acting from pretty early. When did you first show an interest?
Pretty young. My mom really got me into it early, and I started with a lot of theater too. I played young Simba in Lion King, a big play, and then I was in Grease as well, and have done a lot of other little like shorts and other movies a lot earlier in my career. I took a little hiatus the last few years to do some modeling and kind of figure out what space I want to be in. But this last year, pretty much, I've really started to try to enter this vertical space and want to make myself known here. And obviously, like, this is a great place to like start myself and, you know, grow as an actor. Right. So yeah.
Okay, now advance warning, I go off on tangents. So right, Grease. Okay, what role did you play in Grease? Were you a T-Bird?
I was one of the greasers, but I had a few lines too. So that one was like a more supporting role. But my young Simba role, that was my big one that I had. And yeah, I did that one at around 11 or 12. And since then I've done other little theater roles too. But it's really been this last year that I've started to really hone in on my acting and come back into this space for sure.
Favorite song in Grease? This is an important question.
Oh, has to be Grease Lightning. Has to be Grease Lightning.
Good call. Excellent call.
I love that one.
Okay, that's a good call. I like that one. And actually, I will go as well, since you played young Simba. Favorite song in Lion King as well.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king. I love that one. That was my song. I was belting that through the auditorium everywhere. It was a good time. It was amazing.
It's kind of, I guess there's memories attached to that one, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like, that was my song.
And
that's mine.
My mom actually helped throw that event and that show. And so my mom was like producing it, helping run it. So we got it all on tape as well. And I haven't looked back on that and watched it in the last 15 plus years, but it's still there. So one of these days I'll revisit that.
See, you just save that up, and eventually when you're on a talk show, someone will, that's when it gets dug out and like, oh,
exactly, right from the archives.
It's all sorted.
Exactly.
What is it that you loved about it then? Because obviously that's quite a thing to go on a stage when you're quite young and kind of do that. So what was the bit that you loved?
It was, I was so young that I kind of just got thrown into it by my mom, and it kind of needed to happen because I honestly didn't even know what I really liked at that point too. And then when I got on stage and I started performing, it felt so natural too, and it just felt so real. And I remember there was a moment, actually, I was really young, and schools from the community were coming in to watch it, and
Mm.
one of my class was actually supposed to be coming in to watch it. And I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to do this. I get the understudy to perform today. I was like, I
Mm.
can't. And obviously I was really young, so that was my thought. And then they end up showing up, and I last minute I was like, I need to do this. And I decided to do it. And I had my best show of the shows that we had there was that night. So, I mean, definitely it felt natural from a young age. And I really loved it, honestly.
Yeah. So when you talked about traveling, now we're going to go on a tangent
Yeah,
because
no,
what I
please.
do, dear viewers, there's a tiny bit of research that does happen here. I go
Oh,
and look at people's IMDb, and I also tend to look at their Instagram because it's always quite interesting what people choose to post because it kind of
exactly.
shows what's important to them.
Well,
And then I went down a rabbit hole because you have been to Mongolia. I
yes.
mean, when you say travel, it's not just, I went to LA and I went to New York. Like, you have traveled. So can you share favorite places you have been and your tips for the viewer of where they should go in the world?
Yeah, for sure. Mongolia was amazing. That was a pretty random trip, and I was there for 3 weeks. Went to Ulaanbaatar, the capital, and then took a 10-hour bus ride to the Gobi Desert, and that was an amazing trip. Really, it was incredible. Definitely sort of out of the realm of normal trips, I would say, but I would recommend if you're a traveler looking for a really unique experience. But as far as other favorite places that I've been, I used to live in Barcelona and
Mm.
Spain in general, but I love Barcelona. That city has a spot in my heart for sure. I love Barcelona. Thailand is one of my favorite spots in the world. A couple of my best friends are Thai, so we've spent some time there, and I've pretty much explored almost all of Thailand, like the main spots to go see, and definitely one of my favorite places. A year and a half ago, I did a 7 month trip just worldwide and saw 23 countries in a year. So that was an amazing trip. But Thailand and Spain are honorary mentions. And oh, what is one more I could think of? I would probably say, hmm, Bali, Indonesia was really cool
Mm.
too. The people were amazing, and just the food was good, the vibes were good, everything was awesome. But most places I've traveled to, I've loved, I feel like.
I think, yeah, cover the bases. I love everywhere. I'm
Yeah,
happy to go
exactly
back
right.
wherever. It's
Everywhere
all
has
good.
somewhere to offer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I
Exactly.
always think that's as well. That's the best way to do it, isn't it? If you can find people who are local in the country, that's how you get beyond the kind of the really obvious tourist hotspots. So it sounds like you've done that
Yeah,
brilliantly.
totally. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so like last year, global trotting with your backpack and a very well used passport.
Yeah.
When you come back to San Diego, how soon were you like, right, acting? I'm gonna double down. This is my vibe now.
Yeah, it pretty much after I got back from that trip, it really just opened my eyes, and I realized I didn't want to wait for any opportunities like to come my way, and whatever I wanted to do, I was going to do it. The day I got back, I enrolled in music school too, and I pretty much started acting again full time, and I've yeah, pretty much since then like have really honed in and tried to just make it happen with my creative goals. And
Mm.
yeah, it's like soon as I got back, I was like, I need to be acting. I need to be doing this. And yeah, I see my siblings doing the same thing. My sisters are both actors, so
Mm.
they inspire me. My mom inspires me, so I have a lot
Mm.
of support in my corner. Luckily.
So what does music school involve? Are you singing, dancing, you playing instruments, are you composing? What are the areas there that interest you as well?
Yeah, so pretty much singing, like yes, we're encouraged to practice all of the aspects of music
Mm.
production. So yeah, pretty much the composing, the production aspect, DJing, pretty much everything in the realm of that, and sort of with like a catered towards like electronic music because that's
Mm.
what I mainly make. So yeah, pretty much like the whole production process that goes into making music.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing that, and that's kind of fulfilling bit, and then acting. So
Yes.
when you're then applying and looking for jobs, just to explain to people kind of what are
Mm.
the main stuff that was coming up for you that you were seeing in and around LA, and sort of
Yeah.
how soon were you like, I think the verticals is going to be a great option for me.
Exactly. Yeah. So like definitely within the last couple years, I feel like the vertical space has really just come into play and a lot of actors are definitely starting to see more roles. And that is, I mean, I feel like generally the industry has kind of been a little slow over the last like year or whatever. So like the vertical space has just opened up so many opportunities for actors, for myself. And I'm, I'm getting a lot of auditions and for a majority of them at this point right now, verticals, because who knows? I think the space is just growing so rapidly at this space,
Mm.
and it's really amazing to see. And honestly, there's so many opportunities for actors right now to get involved, and especially like ones that are up and coming too. This is a great way to put your foot in the door. I feel like as an actor and establish yourself. So yeah, definitely a strong growing space here that I'm excited to see more or hear more about and be a part of for sure.
I have to ask, and I know it's a slightly, I guess, devil's advocate question, but I know that obviously for a long time, verticals was something that have been around, but a lot of people have like, I don't really want to be involved. And I feel that you're possibly showing that like tipping point of now of actually, no, I can see the opportunities. Do you think you're not alone and that is a general feeling that's happening?
Exactly. And there's been a lot of pushback, I feel like, towards verticals in that space in general because of maybe some of the script writing. Some of them are a little raunchy, a little risque. And, but I feel like as this space continues to grow, the writing has definitely gotten better. The production has gotten better. The scripts are not as they're melodrama vibes, but they're more open ended now too. I feel like so there's more opportunity and more roles for people to put themselves in essentially. And I feel like it the reputation of verticals is definitely changing in a positive direction.
Mm.
And I feel like people and actors and the industry is starting to see the direction it is going and they're starting to want to be a part of it. And, so as this continues to happen, like there's only going to be growth in that space. I feel like for sure.
Okay, so first vertical, correct me if I'm wrong, was Wanted by the Rogue Alpha,
Yep, exactly.
which is like if you're starting, do a werewolf one straight in with the madness.
Exactly. I loved it. It was so much fun.
I'm
Yeah.
always like, I always want to know, like, do you get a primer? Are you like, right, okay, Alec, this is how werewolves work. There's the whole mate thing, then the bond and the alpha. Like, is it explained? Or are you just like, I'm just working with whatever I've got?
No, totally nothing was explained about that. And actually, it was kind of interesting. So we're werewolves, but our characters are human, and we like kind of shapeshift into our werewolf form, but like in not yeah, like we didn't have to dress up or be in
Mm.
any costume for werewolves. And they didn't really give us a lot of like context about how they wanted us to act around that. But um yeah, pretty much it was awesome. It was really cool, and it felt funny being a part of the werewolf lore that was being created. So I like that.
What were your favourite moments on set on that one? Kind of either any favourite scenes or just favourite moments?
Yeah, so I was playing the supporting role of David. I was the alpha's assistant, and I was in like pretty much a lot of scenes there, and I had a lot of fight scenes. I was constantly working with the fight coordinator, the stunt coordinator, and um, when my character wasn't speaking and didn't have speaking roles, I was throwing dudes over my shoulders or punching people in the face, and it was a lot of like being active and involved in all the scenes, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I mean that sounds so cool. That's kind of what you want to do, isn't it? Of get stuck in and
Oh,
get a few throws in. And come off
exactly.
well.
It feels natural. It feels fun. And yeah, so yeah.
And
Mhm.
when you walk onto a set and kind of obviously you're experienced actor, but you're new in verticals, kind of okay. This is again, I
Yeah.
feel like this is a difficult question for you to answer.
No weird.
But I guess like how what do people welcome you? Because the thing I've always been told is that vertical sets are just generally really lovely people, and there's not the gatekeeping that there can be in other areas of the industry, and everyone just helps each other out.
Yeah, honestly, it seemed like that. And both of the verticals that I've been in so far, they've been super everyone has been super friendly. The production, the staff, the other actors. It definitely seems like a more welcome space that's not pretentious. It's definitely since it is growing and everyone is aware that it's a relatively new like sector. It's
And
like a lot of people are very inviting, and there's not. I feel like there's not a lot of pressure. Maybe I didn't put that pressure on myself, and I feel like a lot of
Mm.
actors, especially new upcoming actors, shouldn't be putting a bunch of pressure on themselves and just perform to the best of your ability, and they will be okay with it. I'm sure.
See, that is such a good point. Okay, you have made
Oh
such a good
no.
point because obviously that's the thing, isn't it? If, like, for instance, I'm just thinking as an example, the kids that have just got cast in the latest Harry Potter iteration.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
like, okay, amazing. They're going to be globally known, but oh my word, the pressure, like the pressure,
Exactly.
hits you at
Especially
net rage.
totally.
Whereas verticals, you're right, you can build up the experience. Obviously, there's always pressure, and obviously, you're always going to turn up and do a brilliant, great job.
Yeah.
But you're right, just there is less than there is in going straight into that sort of insanely big prestige thing. And I love that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It must,
Totally. And yeah, that's why I really encourage a lot of new actors to jump into this space and be a part of it. And I mean, it might not be the role you want or the script you want, but I mean, we're actors and we have to be versatile and ready for whatever opportunities come. So there's a lot to come from this space. And yeah, just being open minded is important.
now I need to ask you about, obviously, your other vertical, which is Covered with Silver Fox, which is great
Yeah.
fun because
Yeah.
it's a bit different from vertical because it's set like in a police force. It's like a small town. I think it's Montana, isn't it? It's set in.
Yes, it is. Yeah, exactly.
Now you see, we listen to Police Force. I think, maybe Alec will be. Yeah, you're not one of.
The cops or
You're
something.
not one of the lovely, are you?
No, I'm not one of those. Yeah. So yeah, my role was I was Drew, and I was the one of the supporting roles, and I was against Macy, which was the lead character, and my role was very aggressive, very pushy, very sort of causing problems. And in one of my scenes, my character pulls out a gun and tries to ruffle the feathers of the other two main characters, and that was a lot of fun to film too. A lot different than the first one I'd filmed,
Mm.
just as far as like the character, the plot, and it was a different role that I stepped into, and I felt even more comfortable doing that, and especially having it been my second vertical, it any sort of inhibition or that I had with the first one, I totally went away with the second one, and that's why I really felt like there was no pressure, and it was just amazing. It was just they want you to have fun with it and go with it, and they're not super like strict about getting the exact every single line across. It's more about conveying the feeling and
Mm.
yeah, just having fun with it, and that's the most important part for sure.
And can I just say, in defense, okay, right, we're not saying Drew's a good person here, okay, because he
Yeah,
comes in and he basically
totally
goes for Macy, our lovely lead, Kaylee. Um, it is in a bar, so I'm kind of like, okay, he's probably a bit drunk, but then it is revealed that he's been slightly put up to it, hasn't he?
yeah, exactly.
So
And
I'm like, do you know what? Brett's just wound him up and found him, and because he's like at the end, but you told me I'm just doing this because you were like that, which I think just makes him much more interesting. That he's not just.
no, exactly. And yeah, Drew's character was definitely he's a firecracker, and it was a lot of fun to play that role, and the direction that the director wanted me to go in with it was just to have fun with it and really take it to another level, and I tried to do that as best as I could, and I think I had fun with it for sure.
I have to ask about the location as well, because obviously,
Yeah.
verticals normally you get to go in lots of mansions, but in this one you're in a bar. So kind of was it an actual bar or was it a set?
Yes, so that one was an actual bar outside of LA, like 30 minutes outside of LA. I forgot the name of the bar, but it was an actual one. And yeah, that was a really cool spot. The first vertical I did was actually filmed in a mansion. I forgot the name of the mansion, but it's used in so many other TV shows and movies too.
Mm.
Yeah, which is awesome. And yeah, I love that a lot of these are filmed in LA right here too, but personally, I want to go to China and film some verticals because that's where a lot of the other production is happening for them too, right? So that's one
Oh.
of my main goals as an actor, especially entering this space.
Mm.
And yeah, I would love to do that.
That makes sense with your travel routes. Okay, so other options. I'm going to put them here for you. So you've got China,
Yeah.
Turkey, a film in
Oh,
Turkey. I
I've been
feel
to Istanbul. Yeah, and is there vertical opportunities there? Was that
yeah,
already
yeah, yeah. Keep a lookout
okay?
for Turkey stuff. There's going to be
Wow,
more. Obviously,
that
Vancouver, which I know isn't quite as glamorous, but it's Vancouver, and that's awesome.
I love
Um,
Vancouver too. Yeah, awesome.
yeah, so and I think there'll be more and more. Oh, Lithuania. There's a production company that films in
Wow.
Lithuania, so that could be
Oh,
cool as
that's
well. So,
awesome. I wasn't even aware of that. And I would love to visit all these remote spots of the world. And,
mm,
and they're filming right in New York a lot too. Atlanta,
mm,
I'm seeing a bunch. And it's definitely growing just out of the LA pocket as well. So actors all over the globe, pretty much, not even
mm.
just domestically, can be a part of this. And I think it's awesome that it's growing at such a global rate.
And that's really cool because then we can combine your loves. You see, I like that. For me, this makes me happy. But Alec can travel and he can act, and everyone's happy.
Right.
So all
Me
good.
too. Me too. It feels so good.
So just to remind people, roughly how long was each shoot of the vertical? Just so that people know, kind of overall. I know you maybe weren't there every day, but
Yeah. So both of my supporting roles, it pretty much varies. The first one, I was there for 10 days shooting.
mm,
So that was a full every day, 12, 13-hour days, you're on set. And
mhm,
so that was a longer one. My last one that I did, the cuffed to my silver fox, that one was 2 days of
mm,
shooting. And yeah, that one wasn't as much. It was supposed to be 3, but they only needed me for 2 for that one.
mm,
So it really depends, but like clearly, like you can get a lot done in a day
mm,
or 2. So like regardless, like you're put to the test, you're on the clock, you're working the whole time. Exactly.
mm. Because I think the thing that's also really cool is obviously you're kind of explaining, I think, a brilliant advocate for the opportunities for young actors. But obviously, I hadn't realised till I started talking to people here. So you could potentially have done a bit in a feature film or something,
Yeah.
and it might not come out for 3 years.
Yep.
So you're
Exactly.
like, I was in that, and then you might be cut out, and and obviously the
Yeah.
joy of this is okay. Just to explain to people the timeline. Roughly when did you film those, and then how soon were they on someone's phone, or kind of were you
Yeah.
like, oh wow, it's out?
It's funny you asked actually. Wanted by the Rogue Alpha. I filmed that at the end of April slash beginning of May, and
Mm,
I was looking for months for it because it didn't come out, and so I thought, and I was like, okay, it had been like 3 months had passed, and I'd heard that they come out within like a month,
mm.
maybe a month and a half, and I was like, I'm not sure. Did mine not come out? And they had originally changed the name, so I had like done some deep diving and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my vertical. And I had no idea because they don't, production or anyone doesn't really relay that
Yeah,
information to
yeah.
you. So I had to find it on my own. And luckily I did. And I was like, but the other one, Cuffed to My Silver Fox, that one was a pretty quick turnaround. I filmed that in mid September, I think.
Mm.
And it came out within the last couple weeks. So,
I
and
think
that
it was
was
still October when it came.
okay.
It was
Yeah.
either very late October or beginning November. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Something like that. So, and I was pretty much trying to stay up to date with that one too. And
yeah,
luckily they didn't change the name of that one. So
yeah.
I was able to find that one pretty easily, which is good.
Because then
Yeah.
obviously the joy for you as an actor then is that's out so quick. You can see fan reactions. You've then got show reel of how you come across on screen. Um, in my head, that's another massive advantage of verticals that you can very quickly show people how you come across and build some momentum.
Exactly. And I think that's so important because time as an actor is just so valuable, like your schedule, just where you're at in your career, like having stuff come out quickly, so you can add it to your reel and showcase that to the other casting directors that you're trying to work with as well. And then it can just snowball quickly in a positive way. And I think it's a great opportunity to build your credentials, your reel, and just establish yourself quickly.
Okay, so now I need to know what have you next got on your slate? Kind of what are your plans and what are you hoping to do next? Tell us more.
Yeah, so I'm in between projects right now. I'm auditioning every day, getting callbacks. So
Mm,
I'm waiting for my next role to happen and working diligently to make that happen. So
mm,
it's it's a waiting game, and it's there's a lot of you got to wait for the right opportunities. There's you can give the perfect read for a script, and if maybe they want someone with blonde hair or brown eyes, like you might not be like fit for that specific project. And I think just another piece for upcoming actors is to just never get discouraged, because like in there might be some no's here and there, but there
Mm,
will always be something if you just keep working. And I'm like positive of that. It really just it takes work, and it takes
mm.
putting in the time to really want it, honestly.
I'm going to go on a slight side thing now, but okay, you're like just this wonderful person to talk to because you
Oh,
just
thank you.
exude optimism and positivity, and we need more of that in this world. So just
Thank
I'm
you.
enjoying talking to you so much.
Me
I'm
too.
I'm kind of like working out like are you like a reader? Are you like a podcast guy? Because I feel that you're probably like listening or taking in stuff to kind of help you build that worldview.
I'm not as much of like, I mean, personally, I don't read for leisure as much as I want to. I mean, I
Mm,
was in school for music this last
mm.
year and a half too, so I've been getting my reading and all that in through other ways.
Academic
But
homework.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And honestly, not as much podcasts as well, but
Mm.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
form of media and art.
Yeah.
And I actually made a podcast for one of my thesis that I did in college. So it was an
Mm.
hour-long podcast. So I'm familiar with that space, and
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but I'm not as much tapped into it as I maybe should be or want to.
So I like that. So you've basically built this yourself then, haven't you? This is just
Yeah.
you going out, living life and working out. This is kind of my view, which actually that's actually even way more impressive. So yeah, bravo you.
Thank you. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's yeah, and I feel like that's just a lot of actors. It comes from within. If you don't have an agent or a manager right away too, it's like you really gotta want it. And until you build those few stepping stones up for yourself,
Mm.
like it takes yourself really getting there. So yeah, exactly.
Okay, final questions are for you as the viewer, and I guess I know it's never going to be quite the same because you're always going to be thinking about the acting. But who are your favourite actors and actresses? Who are the ones that you kind of like? I really want to see their latest project. They're always a must watch for me.
Um, hmm, that's that's a good question. I really like Jason Bateman. He's just a classic
Oh,
one. I love how
you could play his son.
I would love to.
You've
I would
got the
love
look.
to.
That would work. We'd believe that as viewers.
I could honestly kind of see that. I could see that. And I
Mm,
love how his acting is it's just himself. He's not stepping into a role. The role is stepping into him.
mm.
And I feel like those are the most fun actors to watch and to see. And yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, I think I like Tom Hanks too. Tom Hanks is awesome. My sister filmed a movie with him a few years ago, actually, Asteroid City in Spain.
Oh,
So with Wes Anderson, and
yeah.
I think he's amazing too. But yeah, I appreciate acting in so many different senses, and I've
Yeah.
really started to like now that I've really become like sort of like am establishing myself as an
Mm,
actor. I'm kind of watching TV and shows differently too, and I'm interpreting the acting, and I'm kind of like making my like judgments. I'm like, okay, that acting is interesting. That's off a little bit, but could have delivered that line better. So
mm.
a little more analytical now the way I consume media, I feel like.
And then I'd have a final question just around the music as well.
Yeah.
Um, is that something that you could see sort of bringing into? I guess, do you see it as sort of separate as DJing, or is it actually I could see potentially sound production around, whether it's verticals, movies, film, and anyway, would you merge the two?
Yes, exactly. Thank you for asking that. That's awesome. Yeah, so the music and the DJing, that's pretty much goes hand in hand, especially with the like industry that I'm trying to enter with that as well, like electronic music. And a lot of that is DJs playing out shows on the DJ decks. And but also I want my music to be used for sync licensing and for productions. And I've already been in contact with some casting directors, and they're like, hey, we need royalty free music for our set. And if they're like, do you want to provide some? So I've given samples of music to different like projects that I've worked on too and helped out. So there's definitely opportunities that are crossing all over, and I want to somehow manage to make my music and acting intertwined and have all of that creative energy come together ultimately.
Oh, he will. I just think it's so exciting. And yes, obviously, when there is a DJ vertical, which I'm sure will happen at some point, if they're not
What?
casting you, something's gone wrong. So, like, Alec,
The
first in line,
protocol,
please, for the DJ role.
right?
He knows what he's doing. Acting not required.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's
Um,
so funny.
I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And I think this might be a let's check back in about, say, like 6 to 9 months, because I'm sure there'll be lots more to talk about then and see
Yeah.
how everything develops for you. But thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time and energy, Jen. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Right.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day too.